week is for you. All right, today we're going to talk about the top 3 things to help get you unstuck. Okay, so 3 things that I've found super helpful in my journey, which was over quite a substantial period of time. I had a lot of weight to lose. Maybe you've got less weight to lose than I did. Maybe you have significantly more weight to lose than I did, and that's okay. But it's important to realize that the components of what it takes to get from start to finish, to actually complete the race, to finish that marathon, is a key part of that is motivation. So that's really going to be the theme for this week. So today we're going to talk about 3 things to help get you unstuck. And look, the first thing that I want to address with you, one of the first things that you need to that I hope will really benefit you in getting unstuck is what to do when those situations pop up when you're with other people. Okay, so when the week, sometimes during the week it's a little bit easier because we've got routine and we've got work and we've got our allocated times that we eat, and so our mind is on work-related things and family-related things, and that's the benefit of having a routine. Okay, but then as the weekend comes up, as the weekend starts to approach, it can become quite challenging to have any kind of a specific routine to keep us in check. Right, and so one of the things that'll happen is that you tend to spend more time out with other people who are perhaps not on the same journey as what you are. All right, and here's one important thing that I want you to know, that I want you to realize when you are with those other people, and it'll help if you put yourself in their shoes. Okay, it'll help to get this perspective if you put yourself in their position. All right, most other people are in a similar position to you in the ways that, in the thinking that they would also like to get healthier, to have more energy and to lose a little bit of weight. Most people are in that similar situation where they're not 100% happy with where they are at with their health right now. And the funny thing is that they also would like to be making better choices about what it is that they are eating. Okay, but what happens is that they tend to just eat what everyone else is eating. And so it can kind of be a little bit like this herd mentality. All right, so instead of straying from the herd and thinking about what it is that they themselves need as the individual, they tend to just go along with what everyone else is eating, knowing that they would also like to make changes. And so sometimes you need to be a bit of a leader. All right, sometimes you need to stray from the herd and kind of stick yourself out a little bit and make a different decision, and then just kind of see who follows. You do that frequently enough, and you watch and see other people will start to make those similar decisions as what you are. Okay, so sometimes being straying going a different way than the crowd may feel a little bit challenging to begin with, especially because you are the minority in that situation. But if you put yourself in their shoes and think about where they're at, it's likely that they are not 100% happy with where they're at also, and they too know that they need to eat a little better. All right, the second thing is celebrate your successes along the way. All right, it's so important to celebrate those little wins along the way. When you set a goal, all right, so perhaps you have a big goal like I did. I needed to lose 28 kilos, all right. I actually set the goal to lose 25 kilos, which seemed massive to me. And when I first set this goal, it just seemed so huge, and I didn't know how if it was even possible for me to ever get there, to ever get to the end of that. I didn't know what it looked like. I had always been heavier. I was always the heaviest out of all of my friends, and so when I subtracted that 25 kilos, that would mean that I would look like, my beautiful friends that I was spending time with, all right? And I just couldn't grasp that is how I would look if I actually achieved my goal. So it was real difficult for me to get there in my mind. And so because it was difficult for me to get there in my mind, a few times what would happen is that I would kind of self-sabotage, and it would really make me lose motivation because I lacked the belief that I would ever get there. All right, so what was really important is that I took that bigger goal and I chunked it down into smaller goals. All right, so I needed a halfway goal. All right, so I needed to know where I was going to be at the halfway point. I asked a lot of professionals, especially my personal trainers that I was working with. I asked them, what would be a realistic amount for me to lose every week, and then I broke that down, and then I broke my halfway goal down into a 12-week goal, and then I broke my 12-week goal down into a 6-week goal. All right, I broke that, so I chunked that down just to make sure that I was on track, and then I actively put things in around me on my fridge to help me see whether I was still on track or whether I needed to do a bit of correction, all right, pull the reins in a little bit tighter, or whether it allowed me to loosen the reins a bit more than I had them. So always working towards a goal, a visual goal that I could see, that I could actually see. That meant that I didn't have to have that vision of what it would look like for me, breaking down that goal into or what it would look like for me if I was setting a goal to lose 25 kilos, which is just too big for my mind to comprehend. All right, so setting that 6-week goal was super important. And then what I did is every time I met that goal, I would celebrate that win. All right, so one of my clients, for example, the first goal that she set was a 2-week goal, and when she met that, she went and got her nails done. Okay, so that was something really important to her, and that was something that she did to celebrate her win. So make sure that you celebrate the wins along the way. The third thing is get yourself some accountability. Get yourself some accountability, because consistency is really key in this race. Okay, in this journey, in this marathon, not the sprint, consistency is absolutely key. You've got to make sure that it's decisions that you are making daily, all right? There really are no huge decisions that you need to be making in this particular journey. There are lots of little decisions, and it's the accumulation of those small things day after day, small things day after day, and more small things that over time turn into big things and turn into big results. Okay, so consistency certainly is key, and often it's not about how much that we know. Okay, often it's not about how much we know, it's about whether we're actually doing the things that we know we need to do. Okay, so it's not usually a lack of information. Now, I know that there are certainly some things that if you knew would certainly help you on your journey, but for the most part, it's not about how much you know. It's about whether you are actually accountable to the things that you know you need to do. So get yourself some accountability. All right, have someone breathing down your neck a little bit, so that you hold yourself to a higher standard. No matter how high your standards are, they are certainly always higher when somebody is holding you accountable to those standards. All right, you'll surprise yourself, and just know that in this journey, the person who you are now is different than the person that you will be in the achievement of your goals. I think about the things that I had to overcome, the challenges that I had to overcome. Most of those were challenges in my own mind, my own limitations, my own self-worth, how the way that I would deal with myself in situations where I was uncomfortable. And as I started to be able to overcome those things, I moved a little bit further. All right, so oftentimes what we fail to see is that a lot of the lessons that need to be learned are more to do with ourselves and who we are and the breakthroughs that we need to have personally. All right, so if you are serious about the achievement of your goal, if you are serious and you know that you need it, all right, then create the situation where you will achieve it, where you have to achieve it. Okay, create the situation where you have to, and certainly that's going to have accountability involved. So put yourself in a situation to be accountable. Put yourself in the situation to be accountable. Look, if you're not ready for accountability, then you need to let yourself know. You need to be real with yourself and let yourself know that if you are not ready for accountability, then perhaps you are not ready for your goal. Okay, perhaps you are not ready for the actual achievement of your goal. And this is how you know when you are, is when you're ready for accountability. Okay, so that's the message for today, guys. Those are the 3 things to help get you unstuck. 3 things to help get you unstuck, which is make sure you get what you need, all right, when you're in social situations. Think about the herd mentality and step away from that. Know that most of the time the people around you are going along with what everyone else is doing. So don't go along with the herd. Make sure that you get what you need in that situation. Celebrate your successes along the way. Chunk that big goal down. Make sure that you celebrate those wins so that you are getting on board with success, all right? And a lot of the time it's a mental thing, and it's about the way we are feeling. And so make sure that you put some rewards for your wins in there along the way, and get yourself some accountability, because consistency is what will get you there. So that's the message for today. I hope you really got some value out of that. Join us tomorrow 8 a.m. Because this week is going to be the week for motivation. So if motivation is what you need, then this week we're really going to get down to what it actually truly takes to be motivated. So stay tuned, because some of those things might surprise you. So 8 a.m. tomorrow New Zealand time. And if you ever want to get in touch with me, ask me any questions or whatever, my website is www.generationhealth.co.nz. That's generationhealth.co.nz. And look, if you're finding that there are other people around you who are also by what you are doing, if you find that there are people around you who you know would benefit from this, right, who would benefit from this information, who also need some motivation, then what you can do is you can actually share this Periscope. And the way that you do that is by swiping up or swiping to the right on your screen, depending on what device it is that you are using. And it's going to give you the option to share to your other Periscope followers, or to share to the social media platform that you are using, for example, Facebook. So I want to thank you in advance for sharing. Cheers for the hearts this morning, guys, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Have a fantastic day.